when to use AI, it is a great tool, and when to not use AI. What we're going to be walking you through is a workshop on how we approach SEO and AI for projects. More importantly, to understand what we'll get into is workflows, tools, how we use SEO and AI together, and also more importantly, how not to use AI and SEO together. Because I don't know if all of you all know what's happened in the last 2 months with AI and SEO, but Google has started delisting and penalizing sites that use a lot of AI generated content. And they've announced come the start of May that they're going to be doing that at scale automatically, penalizing sites and delisting pages that they believe is written by AI. So that's why it's very important to understand when to use AI. It is a great tool, and when to not use AI. Just a little bit about me and Francis. We're Camino 5. We are an agency located in Los Angeles. We have been in existence for going on 6 years now. Before that, Francis and I both have worked for decades in marketing and in-house in the industry. We have done, where focus is on consumer journeys and the intersection of SEO, AI, and brand. And we have done SEO for clients ranging from startups for figuring out their GTM, go-to-market strategies, up until, we've helped startups such as Dollar Shave Club go from small status to unicorn status. That being said, I'm going to kick it right into the talk. And this we're starting off with is our point of view on AI and SEO. AI done right is the master key that unlocks unprecedented opportunities in SEO. AI done wrong can slam the door in your face. And like I mentioned, I've been doing SEO since 2000. And what we're able to do right now with SEO, insights that we're able to pull, is incredible. 2 weeks worth of insights can be pulled in 2 days. The disadvantage, though, like I mentioned, is if not done properly, Google is actively delisting sites who are improperly using AI. For example, using massive amounts of AI content. So done right, AI is your best friend for somebody doing SEO. Done wrong, AI can literally drive you out of business. And so just really quickly, we're going to talk about the current marketing challenges and expenses, the importance of AI in today's market. And I want to hear from you. What are your top SEO challenges so we can address those? And yes, Derek?
Yeah, so sorry to interrupt. You may be getting to this, but one question that sparked my mind already is how does Google determine what aspects or what uses of AI get flagged and which ones don't?
The technical way that Google determines that, Google has not completely said, and there's a lot of speculation that Google itself doesn't completely know the mechanisms behind its own AI. That being said, Google uses a system of labeling and pattern detection to try to understand what is AI. Because at the end of the day, most generative AI, unless I should also specify, we're talking about Google is going after generative AI, not AI, just to specify. Most generative AI is really just pattern matching at scale on steroids. Here's the words that in these topics that are most commonly used together in this context. And that creates certain patterns of words and patterns of recognition that Google is looking for in AI content. And that's how they're detecting it.
Okay, so generative AI kind of has its own, for lack of a better term, kind of its own code language, maybe.
Yeah, and it has its own fingerprint in the syntax of how they all write.
Okay, that makes sense.
And we'll get into this later, but one of the things that we strongly recommend is you use generative AI to create outlines. And you can even use generative AI to help you with chunks of your copy, but always go in and rewrite it by hand. Simple, doing as simple as that. Google is going after, I mean, there's sites that are pumping out, 1,000 pieces of AI content a week for right.
Right, I agree.
And they're going after that because they have their EEAT standards, which can be summed up in they want content that is most purposeful to a person, that answers a search query, that answers what people want to know. The other problem in this is why they're going after it is if there's too much AI content in the world, it destroys the use of AI. If you feed AI content into AI, it becomes a self-serving cycle that drives all the quality downwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm. So that kind of
Thanks
that
for
kind
sharing that.
oh no, thanks for the question. Like I said, we enjoy the questions. The last thing you want to do is hear me talk straight without a question for a half an hour. That's boring. The importance of that sums up the importance of AI in today's marketplace. And the current marketing challenge is expensive. The challenges are just keeping up with what's changing. Here's what's happened with AI and what brought to its place really quickly. In May of 2022, Google made a change to the definition of content ownership. It changed it from a content ownership being an organization, a website, to a person or a website. So my social channel, if I do write about a lot of content, has as much likelihood as getting pulled up as a website about the same content. If I do short 60-second videos about AI on TikTok and they're really relevant, it has as much chance as being pulled up as a blog article I write these days. AI, so Google made that change, and Google is now about to launch sometime this year. Nobody knows exactly when, SGE, which is on the top of Google. There will also be their AI answering the search prompts, the search queries as if they're prompts. So imagine you're getting your chat GPT answer for a short chat GPT answer for every single search query, then the ads, then the organic search results. That's the future of search. So understanding how to leverage that and understanding how to use AI to be the most relevant gives you a foot forward. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Thank you.
So one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to give you a list of we have a list of AI tools that we like to use, the varying cost. And I'll be honest, you don't have to have the most expensive search tools. They're great to have. For example, we love SEMrush and we love Brightcove. Brightcove we will never employ on ourselves because Brightcove costs 10K a month. SEMrush is a little more affordable. It's $500 a month. But to be quite honest, you can also create an incredibly good tool set if for $100 a month using ChatGPT, Claude, and AdWords Planner and a few free or $10 tools. So one of the things that AI has done is, you used to have to pay $600 a month only for SEMrush to get access to some of these trends and some of this research. And to get the advanced research, you had to pay the 10K a month. Now you can pull together the same packages for $100 a month. And those are for keyword research tools, optimization tools, and technical SEO tools. And one of the things I should have known before is technical SEO has kind of taken a back seat these days, but is coming out in importance because part of the answer to your question, Derek, is Google is now relying strongly on schemas to understand what content is and to recognize the content. And all AIs are using schemas to help classify content. And a schema is quite simply a piece of code that Google wants you to put in your website. For example, if your website's has a recipe on it, to put the schema that says a recipe around the recipe. If you're promoting events, put events. If you're promoting, they have around 80 different schemas to use. If you're promoting, if you're promoting a knowledge piece, you put the knowledge schema into it. These are the schemas that Google likes you to use and AIs are using to help classify information. So that's why technical SEO is becoming more important. And link analysis tools. And we'll get into these examples, but link analysis tools are, it used to be, Google has changed the relationship with links a lot in the last year. It used to be the more links, the better. It didn't matter. If you had 1,000 links, it was better than 100 links. If you had 10,000 links, it was better than 1,000 links. It was just simply that. Google has started weighing the number of links versus the quality of the links. And now they're doing that, not just the quality of the links, but is the site that you're linking from relevant to the material and your site? So it used to be, for example, if I got a link from CNN, it was the holy grail because CNN got so much traffic, the relevancy was really high. Then it became, okay, it doesn't matter if I got CNN. If I'm talking about fintech, I want it just in the financial section. It has, more relevancy. It's finance and fintech. Now it's, hey, is the article or where I'm linking from talking about fintech? And does that go? And if so, that's where I get the power from. But if the article is just from CNN on the homepage going to us, it's not that beneficial anymore. And what AI allows you to do is it allows you to do a quick link analysis on who's linking to you, where the links are from. More importantly, allows you to do topical analysis so you can then recognize what sites have the best links for you. And it changes the game in analytics tracking. It allows you to do a lot. And first of all, I'm going to stop and see if anybody has any questions on that or comments or concerns, or is any of these really a pain point for you, for anybody on the call right now? Does anybody have a pain point around one of these topics? And if there are no pain points, I will move forward. How AI can complement and enhance traditional SEO, the potential benefits of combining AI and SEO, and the potential pitfalls of combining AI and SEO. These three things are the things to understand. And right after this, we're going to start to get into some more tangible examples. So you just don't hear me talking, but you can actually see the results. But how AI can complement and enhance traditional SEO tactics. For me, the number one way AI complements is in research. The level of research, trend analysis, and topical analysis is incredible that you can do now. And just to give a definition, by topical analysis, what I'm referring to is keywords are important. But now in the age of AI, when Google is launching an AI in its own search on the SERP page, topical authority is becoming very important. Understanding the topics that people are searching about and understanding the topics that your site fits into. And topics are a little bit different than keywords. For example, if you are a company that sells pool chemicals, yeah, your topics are pool chemicals and so your keywords. But your topics could be summer backyard outdoor activities. That could be a topic that you lightly fall under. Just general pool care is an obvious topic that you would fall into, but you may also fall into how to increase the value of your home and keep long-term care in your backyard for a pool. Those are now topics as opposed to keywords that are becoming more and more important, because what the AIs are doing is they're overlaying topics to get to understand the importance in the infinity. So SEO along research and SEO tactics around topics will become incredibly important. And as we talked about, the potential pitfalls of combining AI and SEO is largely around two things. Is largely around using too much AI content or using AI content directly on your website. The other pitfall that a lot of people run into and don't understand doing research is most AIs have a 1 year knowledge gap. They do have information and knowledge in the last year, but it's not always accurate, and it's not always at the volume to give you true amounts. So if you do a search on what are the trends in fintech in 2024, it will give you an answer and it'll cite resources from 2024, but it may not be a complete answer because of the knowledge gap. If you're using AI for historical research going back, which is understanding trends is very important in SEO, the further back you go, the better the answers it gets. So a lot of people will take the AI answer from the last 4 or 5 months, assume that it's correct and run with it. But you need to take that answer as your starting point and then do your own research in your own tools such as SEMrush. And we just covered this. And my favorite use cases are trend discovery, topics, and content. And we're going to get into right now some examples like how we've used this lately, unless anybody has any questions or any topics burning that they want to have covered or burning problems that they want to ask a question around on their side. If not, I'm going to walk you through an example of here is how AI was used to do research. And the topic I researched was thought leadership trends in fintech for 2024. And like I said, 2024 has a gap. It gives you information, it gives you good information, but it can't be relied on. First of all, I always use at least 2 AIs and one to back each other up. Let me find here where I have in here, like, here we go. Here we have, I use Chat GPT, and over here I use Claude. And what I looked at was started with a series of generic prompts to warm it up, but I made sure I asked several specific tangible data points so I could compare Chat GPT to, sorry, I am tongue-tied this morning, Chat GPT to Claude. For example, I asked, what was the impact rating? I also asked it to do sources. And then over here, I asked for the input rating and organic adoption rate. Chat GPT couldn't give me organic adoption rate, but it could give me an impact score. And now the impact score from an AI is subjective. Always ask it how it calculates its impact score. It'll give you a very interesting answer to know. In this case, the impact score was estimated volume, estimated number of sources, and estimated validity of the sources. But the important thing is I looked at the impact scores of these two side by side to understand, okay, are these in the same ballpark? Should I trust them? Are they wildly different? And they were relatively in the same ballpark. ChatGPT tend to have higher. What was fascinating and interesting was this gave me the exact same trends. Instead of scrolling back and forth, I will hide some of these tables really quickly. So it gave me the exact same trends. And at first, I didn't believe Chat. I am skeptical. So I went in and I ran 3 or 4 different prompts against them both, and I always got the same trends. That was a good sign. But like I said, you can never trust Chat GPT. So what did I do then? Then I went into a tool, Answer the Public. And then I also went into a tool, SparkToro, which does social listening. And I use those tools to understand from a social listening standpoint, what are people talking about on across LinkedIn and all the social channels on this topic. And then in SparkToro, what are the related questions around searches to see if these topics popped up, and they did. So this gave me a good confirmation. Now here's where Chat GPT excels and saves me a day of time right here. I asked it for practical business use cases. Now I asked both for practical business use cases, And I went in and it gave me this balancing for the transparency paradox, a balancing of financial expectations for transparencies with organizations and confidentiality, developing clear communications. So what these did is these allowed me to pull these out and use these as keys for further research and further use cases. And then the best part is, and this is just like cheating at this point. This really is cheating at this point. I specifically asked, and a lot of times you specifically have to ask AI, what are the sources that you're using? And it gave me some of these sources, and I have a larger list of like 15 sources from this. And why this is cheating is it gave me these sources. Now I'm going in, I'm looking up the sources, and now I'm using my tools such as SEMrush and Href to look at these sources and say, what are the keywords that these articles are talking about? What's the search volume that these articles are getting, and what are the topics that they're discovered? And for this one, for example, I pulled all of these together, pulled all of the keywords for them all with the volume. I loaded those keywords back into Claude, an AI, and I said, now analyze the data of all these keywords and topics from these articles and tell me which are the most common overlaying topics and keywords. So that's how AI is like cheating. At that point, I took it out of the AI. I did my traditional SEO research, but it gave me the resources to do the research on. Then I pulled the research out again. I loaded it back on. And the output of what it gave me was it gave me here are the general categories and topics it was talking about, aka these are high value articles for me to write about for a person's website for content in the fintech space. But I asked it to, and it gave me the trend, why it believes, it gave me the reason, the origin, again, the potential impact. And then I asked it for more resources. And then I went in and I did my own estimated search volumes based on that. This is from my own hand research. And when I mentioned before on this tab that I went in to all these sources and I asked it, hey, I did analysis on it and I pulled all the keywords out. These are the keywords from that with the high volume, low competitive that go into these articles that we're targeting. This is a type of research when I was working at a larger agencies that we would do in the course of a week with a team of 2 people. Now, this is a type of research I'm able to I'm able to do it in 2 days. And then taking it one step further, here we go. I was able to point it into, I pulled out once again all the keyword topics and all the volumes in SEMrush, because SEMrush is my favorite tool, but there's multiple tools you can use. You can use SEMrush, you can use Href, you can use AdWords Planner for this. And I pulled out all of the volumes. I cross-referenced those volumes with this list of articles and topics. And then I placed all that information together into a Google Sheet, and then I plugged it back into into Claude. And I said, give me the estimated outputs by month of the year to understand trend lines for all these articles in these topics. And what it gave me was, here is the time of year that these topics are trending based on that data set that I gave it. So what this does is with that, it takes all the guesswork out. Now I know if I'm doing articles on regulatory compliance and risk management, I want to have it up no later than March, ideally February, because of this April date. Same thing here. If I'm doing mental health and financial well-being, I want to have my articles up by March through May. And then I was able to go in, I was able to say, and this is where also you don't want to just rely on AI for your research. I'm able to go in and say, what happens before May to cause the spike in May? Long behold, taxes happen in April, and people are stressed out in May because people do their taxes a little bit late. They get some documentation in, and it's the crossover for May of how much money they owe and their financial statements. And most important thing too is I asked ChatGPT and Claude to give me its rationale behind each one of these trend lines. And its rationale sometimes I completely disagreed with, and I looked, but it was interesting to see. It was like having another person next to me at some points, giving me other ideas, other things to explore. So these are, like I said, this was all a 2-day process. Before, this was a week-long process that would have taken several people at an agency. And now I'm going to get into, unless somebody has a question or how this affects you, I'm going to get into what I consider the key to this is how you construct the actual prompt, the research prompts. But before I get into that, just one note on creating a workflow. Keep all of the prompts that you use in a prompt library. I've developed a prompt library and it has been incredible because you need to write very complex prompts. As I said, use multiple AIs, feed the AI. Like I told you all over and over, like I've mentioned over and over again in this, I was taking things out of the AI, doing keyword research, pulling volumes and numbers, and putting it back into the AI. Always be feeding the AI. The AI learns. So the more you feed it on your project, the more context it gets. Tell it the high value use cases, but always know the limitations. So here we're going to get into we're going to get into the prompts. Prompts are the key. And here's the SEO prompt formula that I use. I always use this formula. Outcome plus focus plus detailed focus plus research specifications plus intended use plus output. This is the formula I always use because when I talk to people who are doing SEO, who's using AI for SEO, usually their prompts are, tell me the most popular keywords used in fintech and tell me which has the lowest search volume. AI is not the best at giving you search volume on its own. And B, its idea of a popular keyword just on its own in fintech is very subjective. This can lead you down a lot of long rows. Or what is the list of topics for articles in fintech? Fintech is a wide subject. It has no context. It has no context of what it's going to give you the exact same output it's giving everyone else. And that's going to cause your SEO not to perform well because you're doing the same thing as everyone else. But using the outcome focus, detailed focus, research specification, intended use, plus output formula, I create prompts like this. This is one of my standard go-to prompts. It's very specific. Outcome. I'm looking to delve into the latest trends in the fintech industry for 2024. That's what I want. I want the latest trends. Focus. Focus on those that have been developing over the last 3 years. I gave it some parameters. That's what my focus would be, just in the last 3 years. Now I say detailed focus. I'm interested in exploring emerging trends, including technological advancements, shift in workforce dynamics, regulatory changes, and evolving organizational priorities. You can change this any ways you want, but see how specific I got on detailed I got on the focus. Then I want to talk about the research I want to do. Research specifications. For each trend, I would like to understand the reason behind its emergence, its origin, and the potential impact. Additionally, it would be beneficial to have statistical evidence to support these trends, such as organic option rates. There was a reason why I said additionally it would be beneficial, because one, I know that organic adoption rates are very, very subjective. An organic adoption rate is the rate of which a subject matter will be adopted or technology adopted by a company if there is no marketing involved. For example, if nobody was marketing to a company AI and SEO tools, at what point would people start searching on what are the best AI and SEO tools? That's the organic adoption rate without having advertising and marketing in the environment. So I got very specific on the research parameters. Then I said, moreover, I'm interested in developing thought leadership content based on these trends. So I gave it its intended use. And the intended use was not, I'm interested in developing articles, because articles can be functional. Articles can be educational. Articles can be listicles. I said, I want a specific type of article, thought leadership content based on these trends. And I could go further in and explain how I define thought leadership content more. And then this is the key, I specified the output. To support this, I would like to know estimated search volume and recommend keywords for each trend to gauge their relevance and popularity. I just didn't tell it I want to know the search volume and the keywords. I want to know why I wanted it. Also, if possible, please include practical business use cases for each trend to illustrate how they can be applied within organizations. And now, to me, here's the key. Lastly, I would appreciate a ranking of the potential impact of the trend scale 1 to 10 being high to understand which trends might be most transformative in the fintech industry. Now, I'm going to give you all a bonus. I don't have it in this prompt, but I have it. This gives you a long text list. I have another standard prompt that I use that says, convert this text list into a table with headers. And that allows you to take this and plop it into a Google Sheet and download it for further analysis. So once again, the key to using generative AI and AI for your research for the prompt is to always use figure out your formula. This is the formula that I believe works the best. Outcome focused, detailed focused, research, specifications, intended use, and then output. I mean, is anybody in the group here using a lot of prompts for SEO research in AI? Does anybody want to share any prompts that they use? You are a quiet group. So, I mean, to wrap it all up, that is the basics of it. That, here we go. To use your AI for research. AI is an incredible tool. And like I said here at the beginning, AI done right is the master key that unlocks unprecedented opportunities in SEO. AI done wrong can slam the door in your face. Understand the limits. Understand that AI doesn't give you the answer. AI gives you the tools, and AI gives you the signposts, and AI gives you some of the data so you can go and further research the answer. AI is incredible at loading in massive amounts of search data around a bunch of different trends and topics and analyze it and telling you 3 or 4 unified topics out of 5 things that seemed to be dissimilar. Does that incredibly well. Never use AI generated content directly for outputting. Use AI to create content outlines. Use AI to create snippets in your content and always rewrite them. AI is your tool, AI is your helper, but AI is not your consultant or your freelancer. It's there to assist you in your research. Any quick questions any questions that I can answer for you all? Derek, Anthony, Elaine, Naveen.
I don't have any questions, but I would just like to say that it's been very informative. Um, I've done some research like this before, so I understand, like you just went over, using AI as an outline to whatever research you're trying to conduct, and then rewriting it is probably the best way to use AI. So yeah, a lot. I also learned some things here. So very informative. I appreciate the presentation.
Yeah. And I can't emphasize enough that people generally aren't doing it, but do basic research in AI, pull it out, do more in-depth keyword volume research, and then put it back into AI. Upload your spreadsheets of the volume research and ask it to find the trends, ask it to correlate. Another prompt I love is take what happened before, pull the research, put it back in, and say, correlate these trends with what emerging trends you see in this research and see what it gives you. It's incredible in that respect. How about anybody else? Anthony, Naveen, Corey? Well, one of the things to move on, one of the things that I mentioned before that we're Community 5. Oh, wait, we have a comment in here. Oh, well, let me ask you this, Elaine. As a newbie, was this a good starting point for you, or was this a little overwhelming? And I will also say this to you, Elaine. Uh, this is the best time I've ever seen in marketing to be a newbie. The reason why is I've been doing SEO since 2000, around 2000. And in order to use AI, I had to, it's like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I had to relearn new ways to work and new tricks. And if you're coming into using marketing right now and you're using AI natively from the ground up, just as part of your workflow, you have a huge advantage because you're not biased. Like, I had to overcome my biases of this was my workflow. This isn't going to work. So it's a great time to come in and be a person in starting marketing right now. Will you present this information again? Yes, we will. And that is a great segue. If nobody else has any questions before I answer that question from Elaine. All right, then I am going to answer that question. I'm going to pull in Francis and we're going to answer that question together. Oh, wait, one thing from Anthony. Newbie starting my online store because expecting AI SEO to advance the website functionality. Yes, AI SEO, Anthony, can. But like I said, one thing I didn't get into today, but here's a freebie, a good note for you, Anthony. AI is a great tool for doing competitor research or who you want to be like. List in 10 companies that you want to achieve their success and list in 10 companies that you think they're competitors, and then develop a prompt like I did in saying, I want to become like them. This is the area. These are the people that are succeeding in this area. What are the areas that they're succeeding at, and analyzing these 10 companies, what are the areas of opportunity that people are interested in that these companies are not talking to? You spend a day, just get creative, start doing all kinds of prompts like that, and it will give you an incredibly good competitive landscape. And then what we're also giving you is this Google Doc, which is a list of the top SEO tools that are using AI. And they range from free tools like Keyword Planner to tools that cost $500-$600 a month, like SEMrush, and tools that are in between, like $100 a month. So you have the wide range of tools that you can use, and we'll be sending you this. So we'll be sending you these two things. And that being said, we have 10 minutes left. You have me for 10 minutes for any SEO related questions, anything at all. Hit me up. And just to understand, we bill at a high rate. So you're getting a good freebie here. So take advantage. Hit me up with any questions.
Hey, Ryan, a couple questions.
Mhm.
So for the prompt library, right? First of all, actually, I was kind of in and out, so I'll have to watch the recording. So if you already covered this, apologize. For the prompt library, how are you maintaining that? So you're just using like a document, or what do you use? How do you manage that?
Frances makes fun of me because she's realizing that I'm a little bit, let's just call it anal retentive when it comes to this. And I'm doing it all within Monday, the project management tool. I created
Cool.
different project for each prompt. So I can search by them, classify them, tag them. Because
Wow.
I use the same prompts over and over again, but I change them. Uh,
Okay.
but I know other people that just use a Google Doc for that or a Google Sheet for that. To me, it's not organized enough because keep in mind, I've been doing this since 2000-esque. And I've learned over the time that knowledge libraries are the key to success. And I've watched knowledge libraries that I didn't expect to grow from like 5 things to 5,000 things and become unusable. So now I always start with tools that allow me to tag it and categorize it.
Okay. So each type of workflow or prompt workflow you're going through, you'll create a separate project for it on Monday, and then kind of keep updating that.
Yeah, that and we work with a lot. Francis and I work together. We have a few people in Communal 5 that we work with, and then we bring in freelancers from time to time too. And I want to make sure that everything that we do has enough integrity, and I can go back to a client and say, "Hey, look, here was our approach to it. Here's what this approach usually gets." So I want to make sure that for certain projects, we're all using the exact same prompts and make
Okay.
sure that's very shareable because one thing about research is you want certain elements of your research to be repeatable. That gives it integrity.
Yep, got it. The other thing is, so you're going through this workflow for any niche, right? So you figure out what are the high intent, low competition keywords.
Yeah.
And then from there, it goes to kind of creating content and you kind of keyword stuff those keywords into your thing, or how do you approach that after that?
I don't keyword stuff. First of all, we do the research, we pull it out, we pull the keywords then out of like SEMrush or Href or Planner, one of those tools. We put it back in, and then we start doing topical research. And then I like to take the topical research out and I pull that into something like Answer the Public
All right.
to give it. And then I also like to use a tool, my favorite for this, but there's a ton of them for social listening, is SparkToro. And it's not the end all tool, but what that does is it allows me to understand what's socially people are talking about too. So that gives me even other indicators. So then I have the topics. Then depending upon the topic, if I'm personally an expert in the topic, I'll write my own outline. But my clients, I rarely have clients that I'm the expert in the topic about. So that's where I start using AI tools to create outlines. Francis loves to use Claude for outlines. I love to use a tool called Reword for outlines. But I have it create the outline for me. And then I'll go in and depending upon our contract, I'll give them the outline. And then for each bullet point in the outline, I'll say, hey, like for the outline for an article, I'll say, hey, here's the 5 keywords that we want to look at, or 4. I really like to only target 3 keywords in an article and no more than that. 5 is the limit. And it depends on the type of article. If it's really like a more of an educational listicle article, we'll go up to 5. But if it's just more of a casual article, 2 or 3, because one, keyword stuffing, it doesn't penalize you, but it doesn't help you. And given the EEAT standards that Google now has, it could cause you not be penalized, but not be as relevant. That's the irony. So, you know, telling writers to only 2 or 3 keywords basically keeps them from keyword stuffing.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so you have your clients create the content for those each bullet points, and then you kind of put them back together into the larger article for them, I guess.
Yeah, or I'll have them create the article from the bullet points. It all depends on the
Yeah.
contract.
Got it. Yep.
But yeah, the other thing there is explains because the client usually is the subject matter expert on their topic, not
Right.
me. And it just comes from authentic place. And ironically, one of the things that AI is allowing Google to do is recognize tones of voices of a website. And if there's a bunch of articles that don't match the tone of the website, like if it's a brand that's nice and fun and playful, and then all of a sudden you have a bunch of really stuffy articles in there, Google says that in the future it's going to start to decrease the relevancy because it wants because it's saying it's not in the right tone, something's not right.
It's not congruent. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes
it
sense.
hasn't done it yet. And to be clear, that's not a penalty. They just won't give you the same relevancy.
Sure. Interesting.
Good question, though.
Yeah, are you seeing so in the AI world, just the relevance of SEO? Is it, could you comment on that? Like, is it going to be a lot more? Because people are really doubling down on just marketing and sales, like really targeted outreach and stuff like that, like direct outreach. So,
In my opinion, and this comes from, and I do have what would be classified as an expert opinion, working in ad agencies for over 20 years, and I'm marketing for over 25 years on marketing digital. SEO is going to be incredibly important in 2025, and it's going to start gearing up highly, probably in Q3 for the holiday season in the US and Europe.
why do you say that?
The reason for that is a couple fold. One, GDPR compliance is rolling throughout the United States, which has to do with data use and the use of cookies. So the accuracy of targeting in ads has gotten very bad. It's going to get worse. You have about a 70% waste right now. So that's happening. So people are looking for ways to better target their ads. Part of that conversation of reducing weights is cannibalism. What keywords are being targeted in search that could better and easily be targeted in SEO? How can we do better defensive brand keyword campaigns in SEO and take that budget out of paid search, for example, or AdWords or paid social, and roll that into more product feature campaigns? Stuff like that is campaigns like that are coming up. And then the last reason is SEO and brand are becoming intertwined. Because like we just talked about, the congruency of tone of voice. And SEO now there's a concept in SEO that is just emerging that we're pushing, which is we refer to as connected SEO. And we'll be doing a webinar on that later on. Or if you join our group, I'll talk about it to you all day long, which is when Google changed the definition of SEO from being an organization to a person back in 2023 in March, and they're going to change the definition again, sometimes to a person, an organization, or a concept. Then what that means is you can now, if you do your SEO right, you can get your content from TikTok and your content from YouTube Shorts to rank increase the relevancy of your paid search campaign. If it all is done using a funneling technique of sequential messaging and sequential relevancy into the point of purchase. So those techniques right now, nobody is really talking about that, but that's going to be the emerging technique of SEO. You're already seeing the results. You're already seeing YouTube Shorts and TikToks pull up your search results probably.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So, when people start thinking about how can we leverage that and create that relevancy funnel, then SEO is going to become double more important because that relevancy funnel drives traffic. It boosts the ROAS of every channel, and it lowers the cost of all of your Google ad properties.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
That's just right around the corner.